Well, thank you all for joining us today. I'm really excited to spend some time here with Carl Howard and Sean Kennedy, just some great friends and executives in the restaurant industry that have been incredibly helpful throughout this past year. I know that I can call on them anytime. So I'm excited to hear about the advice that they're here to share with you today. So let's just jump right into the topic. And Carl, I'm going to start right out with you. First of all, just tell us a little about Fazoli's and what you've been up to this past year.
Sure. So thank you, Carin. And if you haven't been to Fazoli's in a while, or you've never been to Fazoli's, we're like a little Olive Garden with the drive-through. So we have a smaller footprint. We serve Italian fare, mainly pasta, baked pasta. All of our locations have a drive-through. We're in this unique space in between casual themed dining, QSR, and fast casual. And we just have a real good recipe right now. And our breadsticks are the goat. If you haven't been to Fazoli's, you're never going to get a better breadstick than what we've got. And we've been very fortunate in 2020.
Yeah, thanks for that, Carl. I have most of my family living in the Kansas City area, and you've certainly been a go-to for them throughout this pandemic. A great, affordable way with delicious food to feed a family, no doubt. And Sean, give us an update on Cowboy Chicken. How are things going for you?
Well, sure. Well, thanks, Carin. For those of you that don't know, Cowboy Chicken is a Dallas-based fast casual brand that specializes in wood-fired rotisserie chicken. And we've got some really killer chicken enchiladas and a lot of home style sides, most of which we make in-house. We serve all natural chicken. It's hormone free. We season it by hand in our stores on a daily basis, and then we cook it over a real wood burning fire that creates a really delicious, flavorful, crispy skin on the outside. Generally speaking, we're a standard fast casual brand, 2,500 square feet. We do a lot of historically dine-in, takeout, delivery, catering, that kind of thing. And 2020 has been interesting, as we all know. And I would say that we survived in decent fashion and are looking forward to 2021 for sure.
Well, thanks for that. I think whenever I talk about Cowboy Chicken, we're always debating what is it so attractive, the juiciness of the chicken or that crispy crust that you somehow pull up every time. So again, you have a delicious product that we all certainly enjoy as well. Well, let's just jump right into the topic, about really thinking about this kind of new model of fast casual. But let's step back a little bit because I think we were already seeing some of the changes in consumer behavior, whether they were staying at home more often, their spending habits were different. So let's start off with pre-pandemic. And Carl, let's talk about some of the things that you were seeing and that you were already planning on making some changes to your model pre-pandemic.
Sure. So we've been moving into a stay-at-home economy for many years. We've seen our business shift from dine-in sales to off-premise sales every single year for the last decade, but dramatically so in the last few years. Post-pandemic, we just pushed us into a full stay-at-home economy. So you really need to have a good digital and tech experience for the consumer that's stress-free for them. And you have to provide every known way for the consumer to order your product and every known way for them to receive their product, because we are not going to go back to where we were pre-pandemic. We're going to continue to see the consumer working from home and wanting their goods and services brought to them the way they want to order it and the way they want to receive it.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think a lot of us are talking about what this new normal is going to look like. So I think that'll be fun to explore here in a few minutes. Sean, how about you? What were you thinking about kind of pre-pandemic and any kind of changes to your model?
Well, started at probably late, like third or fourth quarter 2019. We started to contemplate and structure a big kind of a company-wide technology upgrade that included, a new and improved website. It included an upgrade to our loyalty app. It included, third-party aggregation, and we have in-house delivery already. And so in late 2019, we looked at upgrading a lot of our technology to allow our guests to have a faster, cleaner, more seamless experience when it came to either ordering or having their food delivered. And so fortunately, we were a little ahead of that curve going into 2020, and we've taken some time during 2020 to really accelerate a lot of those investments. And I'm happy to announce that we're almost through that. And I think to Carl's point, I think technology is going to play a big role going forward, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But we saw that kind of coming. We started to make that investment, I think, at the right time. Maybe a little behind, but we're good now. So.
Well, it's forever changing. So even when you think you're caught up with technology, something new is on the horizon. That's for sure. But look, it's been said pretty regularly now that it's no longer good enough just to have great food, that you really need to be technology forward as well to be successful going forward. So let's talk about some of those changes that you've all made. You both talked about investing in technology, third-party delivery, kind of a digital platform that's easier or seamless for the consumer. So let's tackle that for a little bit. What specifically were some of the things that you initiated that are really working for you today? Carl, you want to kick that off?
Sure. So in 2015, we basically wiped out all of our point of sale systems and back of the house systems in order to support the technology upgrade we need to be making. So we have all new point of sale, all new back of the house management station, online ordering through our website and on our mobile app. And we continue to make our mobile app experience, because we're seeing a lot of orders come through our loyalty guests through that app. So we've added curbside. We've added them the option of going through the drive-through to pick up their order if they want, instead of coming in. And we've just also tried to make the overall mobile app very easy for the consumer to use. And it's been a big focus for us. As far as third-party delivery, they're doing about 12 to 14% of our sales in third-party delivery. It was about 4 pre-pandemic, and we've really kind of partnered up mainly with DoorDash to work on different ways to profitably drive revenue through their system, and that's been good. We're working on voice automation right now. Our goal is to have our drive-throughs be able to have a bot take your order. That's something that we're working on. Same with the phone system. So if someone calls in for a traditional carry-out order, so we're added tablets in the drive-through, similar to what you see at Chick-fil-A. We now have tablets in all the company restaurants and an order taker on during the peak hours. And we're actually expanding that to 2 people this summer. So we're just shifting our people outside and really trying to give the guests a really seamless experience.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I'm watching a lot of fast casuals start to jump into drive-through for the very first time, and I'm not sure that everyone is really set up for that, to make that order right when it is, is given. You've already had a drive-through model, Carl. So, but now it looks like you're kind of a hybrid with kind of a pickup and a drive-through. Has that added a lot of complexity, or is that working well for your teams?
No, it really hasn't added any complexity. We had to learn the whole curbside piece, because we never have done curbside because we had a drive-through. So that took a little bit of the working and training and operational kinks that we worked out. But I got such a great operations and training team. I love my team in general. So they're just really forward thinking, and so it really hasn't been that stressful. I think our biggest opportunity that we see at our brand, we're very fortunate. Because we are a value player, that we are very busy right now, is we're just experiencing too many cars that drive off because the line's too long. So we're trying to really work on shorten the number of cars in the line.
That's great. And have you found a technology solution for your curbside that gives you some type of an alert
so
when the
we're
guest
working
is
with
there?
our third-party mobile app provider, Punch, on that piece right now. Right now, the consumer, the sign up front says, when you arrive, dial this number, and our phone rings. It gives a separate ringtone, so we know it's a curbside order. So as soon as we hear that ringtone, we go and just look for the car, and then we just run the order out. And they're doing a pretty good job. We looked at the idea of checking on your mobile app and doing a check-in here. That's something that we're exploring, but our operations team actually wants to leave it as it is because it seems to be functioning pretty well.
Yeah, that's terrific. We're kind of trying that, but a lot of times the guest never gets to the email to let you know that they're there. So I think that may be a much better solution. I think a lot of people will benefit from hearing that. Hey, Sean, let's shift on to you then. And obviously, you talked about some of the technology and the digital work that you were doing prior. Can you give us some more specifics on some of the things that have landed well?
Sure. And I think there's a couple of really big ones that we focused on. We recently just launched a massive overhaul of our website, which wasn't terrible, but it was a little clunky. We were using some outdated technology for our online ordering platform. And if you go to cowboychicken.com today, you'll see that our website is, I mean, it's beautiful. The photography is great. It allows, we switched our online ordering platform to something that's very easy to operate, very intuitive, very guest friendly and facing, and has a lot of bells and whistles that we didn't have in our previous version. So that's a big, again, that was probably almost a year-long project. So we launched our new website with new and improved online ordering. We're upgrading our loyalty app, which offers a mobile pay, mobile order component. We've had that for several years, which during 2020 was a big benefit to us. We're also testing contactless payment. So a guest doesn't have to hand off a card to one of our team members if they're not comfortable with touch or, from a pandemic or COVID standpoint. So we're testing contactless payment. And, we're working through with our big providers, our big third-party providers, not only DoorDash and Uber Eats, but also Easy Cater. We're working through the final steps of full integration there. And so what we'll have at the end of the day is a very seamless and intuitive platform that will allow our guests to order from us for whatever occasion they're placing their order for, with a very seamless experience that will be a pretty top of the line from a technology standpoint. So we're pretty proud of that. And I think if you guys have, I would encourage everybody to go check out our new website. It's pretty cool.
Yes, definitely. And one of the things you mentioned just now too, and obviously, I think one of the things, we've talked about seamless, we've talked about frictionless, and the new word seems to be contactless. You've mentioned that a few times as well. And so, talk a little bit about that. And was the new website helpful in making that happen and working with all the various integrations? Yeah. Any insights there,
Well,
Sean?
Well, I think, it's not easy, I think, to get everything integrated and working together like that. Every platform, it has its own nuances, and getting everything to integrate well together has been, for us, it's been an achievement. But now that it's done, I would say that it kind of follows the pattern of those that have been wildly successful during the pandemic, which are, a very guest-facing mobile experience that really just allows people to place orders. And Carl mentioned a problem earlier in drive-through, and it's a nice problem to have, which is we've got too many cars in our drive-through. How do you solve that, right? So if you look at that from an overall just order standpoint, if you can open up all the channels wide open to accept every sale that comes your way without the bottleneck that technology can create at times, then your sales should rise. And that was our goal, and we're seeing the benefit of that today.
That's terrific. You also mentioned catering, which is one of the areas that seemed to kind of the bottom fell out of catering. I think with the pandemic.
Sure.
How has your business responded to that?
Well, our catering business was always a substantial part of our business, mostly in the legacy stores, and we've seen there's been a sizable impact on our catering business. But fortunately, we to back up for a second, we had looked at late 2019. We had looked at our sales by day part and noticed that our PM sales or nighttime sales were declining a little bit. And so we decided that we would launch a family pack promotion in the second quarter of 2020. And we couldn't have timed it better. I think we got lucky. But our family pack promotion during the second quarter and third quarter has been a monumental success for us. So I think, you put all of that together, and I think we're coming out of it okay.
Congrats on that. Yeah, that the innovation is really paying off. I think both you and Carl have had a lot of success with family meals and led the way for a lot of us out there on that. So let's jump into what sticks. All these things that you're trying, all these things that have made both of you be incredibly successful throughout this pandemic. Carl, I'll start with you. If you talk about the new model going forward for fast casual, what sticks, and what are you going to continue doing?
Yeah, so we're going to continue to see more of our business move to off-premise, whether that's drive-through, curbside, third-party delivery, and catering, which was brought up. Our catering sales has also declined, but we may go back to a higher dine-in percentage than we're doing now, obviously. But in general, I think you'll see more and more people get comfortable using technology, be comfortable ordering their order through the internet, through the cell phone, the iPad, whatever device that they want, and that's not going to go away. I think the other piece, just from a granular level, is we are going to be working from home more often, and that we're going to see an opportunity for the brands that Sean mentioned that really create a dinner solution and can provide a value pack that has enough variety and enough value to get your consumers to order. And that's something that we are continually to work on. Big part of our success was the rollout of our super family meal. And, candidly, at the point when we rolled it out, I didn't really care how much money that we made on this. We made very little per guest, but we did a whole pizza, a bucket of spaghetti marinara, fettuccine Alfredo, a dozen breadsticks, and a gallon of tea or lemonade, and our sales just took off. We started doing thousands of those a week per location. And since then we modified it and have done different versions of it, and we're seeing success with just about any family bundle that we've rolled out. And I think that's something that is going to continue with this new stay-at-home economy, or people just being pushed into staying and working from home.
Yeah, that's really incredible, and a great value as well. You kind of mentioned, though, you think people are going to continue to lean in, or maybe there's some structural changes that people are going to continue to stay at home for quite some time. As you continue to grow your brand, are you thinking about that, and from a physical plant standpoint, or how you're going to build restaurants in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're definitely shrinking the size of our overall footprint. We're looking at double drive-throughs. We're really to focus on the back of the house to make sure that we can speed the throughput. And then we've got a major equipment innovation going on currently. So we're working with all of our equipment providers right now to see what we can do to decrease the time of meal delivery. And, so absolutely, it's a big focus for us. We're excited about the double drive-through. Our big focus on development right now has been conversions. We're converting a lot of QSR shells right now. I think we have 11 under construction of new franchise groups coming in, and so we're really focused on looking for the QSR shells that have a drive-through, and that's good formula for us.
Yeah, that's great, Carl. It's so fun to hear stories of not just survival, but brands that are really thriving through this, and providing a model for a lot of us in the industry. So really well done. Let's shift a
Thank
little
you.
bit to operations. There's been a lot of challenges with our operators, everything from trying to staff restaurants today, safety in the restaurants. Tell us about some of the operational challenges or successes that you're seeing. And maybe I'll throw that one to you first, Sean.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to actually just take a step back for a second, if you don't mind. I think if you're looking at, for us and for
Sure.
future store design, I think, first of all, I think, Carl and his team at Fazoli's have got a really good model for success, and I wish them continued success, and it sounds like they're doing well. For the Cowboy Chicken side of things, I think, we will see future stores that are a little bit of a smaller box and a smaller footprint, like Carl mentioned. I think, people have had success with smaller, tighter menus that allow for a little bit of less labor, but still, preserve the brand's DNA. I think there's going to be a high focus for us on technology and continued integration. and making sure that our delivery program, both our native in-house delivery program as well as our third-party delivery program, remains strong and robust, and that those channels of revenue are wide open. And we do have one drive-through in our system, and it's a company-owned store that through the pandemic was a shining light for sure. And so I think that you'll see more, not just us, but other brands embrace drive-through and start to also embrace, walk-up, pick-up windows for mobile orders. And I think outdoor spaces and patios are going to become more prevalent. So I think generally speaking, I think if you have, a smaller, tighter restaurant with a patio with a high-tech implementation, and I think that's the path forward for us anyway. And then, so thank you for letting me go back to that. And then operationally speaking, we've always had high volume takeout, and our chicken travels well, and our menu is executable at a pretty high rate of speed. And so operationally, we just kind of double down on the things that we've already done, which is focus on, order execution and accuracy and fresh food, and making sure that, the hospitality component, even during pandemic, wasn't lost. And I think if you always focus on taking really good care of your team, and you take really good care of your guests, and you serve really delicious food, and you just focus on the core elements of the restaurant business, operationally, I think you just have to do the things, mostly the things that we all know to do, to have a successful restaurant.
Yeah, I think that's a good equation for success. Just quickly to piggyback off one of the things that you mentioned, I believe you're one of the few brands outside of pizza that really kind of kicked off self-delivery. And how's that going for you, kind of that balance with the third-party vendors?
Well, it's going well. Thank you for asking. We've had in-house delivery since 2004, and at first it was a really big brand advantage because we were the only guys doing it besides pizza and Chinese. And then when third party came along, we kind of doubled down and we kind of drew a line in the sand, said, look, we're not going to work with these guys. Commissions are high. And, we kind of fought it. And then we learned to embrace it. And then we learned how to navigate through the profitability side of it. And so now what we have is we have a native in-house delivery program, which is still very strong. And we have the addition of the additional revenue that third party and those marketplaces bring to us. And I will say the advantage for in-house delivery for us is we get to keep that one-to-one connection with our guest. And we make sure that we have and own that relationship with our guest, which you don't get with third party. Third party delivery customers are customers of Uber Eats and customers of DoorDash. And that's great and fine, but we find value and a lot of value in making sure that we have that direct connection and relationship with our guests. We think that's very important.
Yeah, congrats on that. That's really terrific. Well, we're getting near the end of our time here, so I'd just love to hear from both of you. Carl, I'll kick it off with you first. Any predictions for the future of fast casual? Some of the things that you've done that are going to stick, and just any great insights that you can share.
Yeah, I'll start with Sean. We focus on people, sales, and profit, and taking care of your employees is paramount, especially during everything that's going on. But I see a shift to off-premise at a greater magnitude, and Sean's right. There's going to be many brands that drop drive-through and pickup windows, and you're going to continue to see that. And you got some large chains out there that are retrofitting their current spaces to make sure that they can service the consumer in a drive-through order. So I think anything that you can do, again, to provide every known way for a consumer to order your product and provide every known way for the consumer to receive your product will benefit you. If you add that technology experience along with customer service, great food quality, and value, those are the four legs of the chair that will help you win.
They're certainly working for Fazoli. So yeah, congrats on that, Carl. And Sean,
Thank you.
Final thoughts on the future of fast casual?
Well, I also want to congratulate Carl. I think I think Fazoli's is winning the game, and that's great, and I'm happy for them. But I think I think that the fast casual space is still the place to be. I think casual dining has had its troubles, and I think that QSR brands are always there. But I think fast casual, that space that we live in, that allow us to innovate and continue to develop new ideas and new brands. And I think I'm happy that we're in this space. I'm very optimistic about the future of Cowboy Chicken as well as the restaurant industry. I think we've been through some tough times, and we'll go through some more. But I think we're pretty resilient as a bunch. And we haven't even touched on the new competition coming from virtual kitchens, but I think that's a whole nother panel. But look, it's an exciting business. I love it. I love our company and our team and the industry in general. And I'm still excited every day to get up and cook some chicken over a wood burning fire.
That's true. I love hearing that. Look, I think we covered a lot today. And yes, I do wish we would have gotten into virtual kitchens. I think all of us are dabbling into that and, finding a new revenue stream there. So I think that'll be brought up throughout this entire Fast Casual Global panel. And so, Carl and Sean, I just want to thank you for your insights. It's great again hearing the success stories that each and every one of you are having, and we wish you well all throughout 2021. And I'll encourage our listeners to stay tuned because there's a lot more coming on Fast Casual Global. Thank you both so much, and happy 2021.
Thanks,
Thank
Carin.
you.